So I know there's quite a lot coming up for the assorted team. How about yourself, Alan? What's next on the agenda for you?
Yeah, I'm making a wee trip this weekend uh, uh, over to the US of A. I'm going to watch a bat and ball game. It's my main source of my trip. The US Open, US Open golf. So I'm working my way through the four majors, and I'll do the Grand Slam one day. For anyone listening, I'm watching, not competing, but nobody was really going to ask that question anyway, were they? But exciting to be doing that on the back of another great Scottish sporting triumph with Bob McIntyre winning the Canadian Open at the weekend, getting himself in the top 60 in the world, which qualifies him for the US Open when I'm going to be there at Pinehurst, North Carolina. He's actually in the top 40 in the world now as well. So very much looking forward to that. And staying in North Carolina, I will be in Durham, the home of the mighty Durham Bulls. So yeah, I've been watching the movie, get myself in the mood for that, and I'll be heading down the Durham Bull Athletic Park, and I'm going to see the Charlotte Knights. So there's a chap, Luis Robert Jr. playing there. So is he is he dropped down to AAA? Is he on an injury rehab, or what's his story there just now, Dave?
He's on injury rehab, and I've bad news for you.
Oh, he's
um,
it's not going
so
well.
no,
Oh,
it's
it's
good
going
news
well
for
for
me.
him.
Yeah, so he's been injured for quite some time, and he's only recently been making his kind of rehab down in AAA. However, there has been word that he'll make his way back potentially even
Good for him.
tonight against the
Right.
Cubs. So I would have thought if he doesn't make this Cubs series in the next two nights, there's a really strong chance that it'll be the series after that. So you may just miss him. And it's a
Cool.
shame because he is an absolute breakout star, Alan.
Cool. But to be honest, the Durham Bulls, I guess really my main wish there is to see Ripken, not Carl Ripken, but Ripken the Bat Dog. We were talking about bat flips there as well, but the Durham Bulls rather than have a bat boy, they have a bat dog. In fact, I saw on Twitter today that Ripken was practicing picking up golf clubs with the US Open in North Carolina next week as well. So this dog does it all. He does the tee when they play American football, the kickoff with the ball on the tee, and Ripken goes out and gets it. So yeah, my dog. I think if I let him anywhere near something like that, he would go and pick it up and run away as fast as far as he could to play and chew on it himself. So I will go and get some training tips as well as seeing the bat dog as well. So that's exciting. And yeah, unfortunately, Richard can't join us tonight. I know he's got stuff on as well. I think he's on some travels as well. But you guys are also making the trip. You're not doing minor league baseball, though. You're going to go and do major league baseball. So what's up, guys?
So it's that time of year again, Alan, when we make our way down to London. I think it's you seem to be ditching us more and more every year. Just big game hunter.
Yeah,
So Dave and I'll take in a couple of games this year. It's the Phillies and the Mets in quite a rivalry. I don't know if Dave's got anything to kind of pick up on the series just now, but something that they released this week is the first pitches will be thrown out this coming weekend with Matthew Broderick on Saturday. He of Ferris Bueller, which is a fantastic Chicago film. And on Sunday it'll be Rob McElhenney, who maybe a bit more familiar to the UK sporting audience these last few years with his co-ownership of Wrexham alongside
oh yeah, yeah.
Ryan Reynolds. So he's quite an entertaining character. He's made some good TV shows over the year. But I think Dave will be in London a little while longer than I. I'll be joining him Friday evening. But we're looking forward to it. Dave, any
Cool.
any thoughts?
Yeah, actually, we've just heading down Friday morning, so we'll be there in the afternoon. But we'll maybe get the fridge stocked for you when you arrive, Dave. Yeah, we'll have to have a wee chat wider this on arrangements, but I am looking forward to it. I mean, I'm not really fully up with the rivalry with the Phillies and the Mets. You know, obviously, if you go back to our first one, MLB London, was it 2019? And it was
Yes.
the Red Sox and the Yankees, which is probably one of the most famous rivalries in sports, never mind just baseball. And then we had the Cubs and the Cubs, didn't we, last year? So this promises to be quite interesting. On the face of it, the Phillies got the joint best record in baseball
Mm.
currently, haven't they?
Yeah.
I think we talked about them. They're 42-19, whereas the Mets, who have not been shy in spending the cash, they're actually 10 games under 500. But they're not completely out of contention. They're only 4 games back in the wild card. They're a National League teams. So I think they've still got quite a lot to play for. And I've been interested. There's a few players that I'd like to pick out. I think we mentioned one of my favorite nicknames, Polar Bear Pete, on first base for the Mets. He's a home run derby expert in the and so I'm looking forward to seeing him. And the Phillies have got plenty of good hitters. Schwartz, who I really liked when he was at the Red Sox. Bryce Harper, the catcher. I don't know a great deal about the pitchers for the Mets, but the Phillies have got Zach Wheeler. Like to see him pitching. I don't think I think it's just a little bit too far out for the prospective starters to be
Right.
up yet, but it's gonna be a great experience. It really is a good show, isn't it? I haven't checked the weather today actually. Hopefully things are gonna be okay from that point of view. I wouldn't mind trying out the fan zone. Have you looked into that, Dave? The thing that's over at Trafalgar Square. Maybe
I've
we could
not
go there. Maybe we could
not
go
yet.
there Friday night. But what time do you get in?
I'll check that out, but
Yeah,
yes, it's something worth looking at.
yeah, potential. I'll have a look into it and see. And there's always our favourite London brewery, Crate Brewery, which I think I've got a tab behind the bar for that actually.
Yeah,
Believe it
there's a
or not.
few good bars you've frequented round about the West Ham Stadium as well, and
Mm,
yeah, you're becoming locals and good knowledge there in the grounds. There's obviously in a football stadium as well, and it's they do a good job transforming it. I'm always when I'm sat there, I can't really work out where I am if I was at a football game. It looks brilliant.
I was just looking at some of the pitching, as Dave mentioned. We weren't too familiar with the Mets. Just a couple of names that jump out. Sean Manaea, who his name rings a bell. He's been pretty good over the years. Jose Quintana, I think, was at the White Sox
mm,
for a while. But three names that I do recognise: Luis Severino. I think he spent some time with the
mm.
Yankees. But you've also got, I'm sure it's two ex-Boston guys, Dave, Jake Diekman and Adam Ottavino.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Those names ring a bell. Yeah, so there's always familiar names there.
A lot of the Phillies players' name ring a bell as well. Boom.
Cracked bell, yeah. Not a good one. No, I
Sorry.
think I think that the Mets will be, looking to sort of pick up on their season because as I say, they're 10 games under 500, but not completely out of it. And I think they're the sort of organization who, the trade deadline will not be a million miles. I know it's the end of July, but teams tend to start thinking about where they are in the lead up to the All-Star game, which is somewhere about the middle of July, isn't it? So I think if you're in contention there, and I would argue that, if you're 2 or 3 games out of the wild card spot, then um, a club like the Mets might be looking to add a little bit of quality to their roster for the run in. Any much worse, and they might be having second thoughts. But it's full steam ahead for the
Yeah.
Phillies, isn't it?
Do the Mets have a good DH, Dave?
Uh, oh no, yeah, of course. Is it the man, JD?
It's your old pal, JD Martinez.
Yes, I do you know I totally forgot about that, and I did see something earlier today when I was having a look into what we might talk about, and that's just jogged my memory because if on the odd chance that the Red Sox were in contention, they're a 500 team, so they're not too far away, but they've got some tough opponents coming up. The Yankees are coming into town, so they're playing the Braves as well next, I think tonight. So that could easily go downhill. But I think I was hearing that they could really do with adding a right-handed batter to their lineup. And I saw JD Martinez's name suggested that he might come back to the Red Sox if they were a buying team, but it could equally go the other way. And if they were a selling team, then you might find yourself losing someone like Nick Pivetta. He could be quite attractive to teams in contention, even the closer Kenley Jansen. So yeah, really, all there's a lot hinges on the next few weeks, which way your organization's gonna go.
Yeah, I was interested in talking to you about the trade deadline and that because it's again, I suppose watching Scottish football, we've got our transfer windows. So obviously one during the close season, which we're in just now, and we then get a month transfer window in January. I don't know if it's the full month of January, but roughly round about there. So it's intrigued. If I look at this, the Tigers have always got Tarek Skubal, and there's talk of Tarek as a Cy Young contender. I think he did lose. Did he lose a game against Boston? Possibly. I'm not sure if he got the official loss, but he's got his ERA this week. I noticed he got back under 2. Um, he's firing in all cylinders as the Tigers starting pitchers seem to be doing. But all of a sudden we've entered into this chat about he's the strongest piece of the Tigers franchise team, so he's the guy we would then look to trade. Now, if you look at Ross County in the Scottish Premiership as one of the teams who'll finish towards the bottom of the league, if they unearth a superstar for whatever reason, in simple terms, he's not going to stay at Ross County. He's going to come to the end of his contract and he's going to go and sign a big contract. Or if County have got the right deal in place for him, they'll sell him mid-contract and cash in for some money. And there's an argument, having watched the Tigers for a few years now, they occupy similar positions in the Major League Baseball towards the bottom. But I go back to the theory of every team theoretically is going to have a chance of winning. Every team is going through a rebuild. The poor teams get their top draft picks in and come through. So I'm just a little confused. The Tigers are now in a situation, got a few good starting pitchers. So let's get rid of our absolute best guy who's probably only going to go on and do better. And then let's try and trade him for some hot bats that'll come in because we're struggling with bats. Does it make sense that you get rid of a guy who's that good? Does it make sense because he only plays 1 in 5 games? So he's potentially got less influence or relevance there. does it become, do you think, oh yeah, we can go and get 2 or 3 great guys, great batters in for him as well and get some more prospects? How long does a rebuild go on? Do the Tigers accept that they're not really moving towards a winning playoff team? It's just a
Yeah.
very different situation to what we're used to. I don't know if you guys had any thoughts or perspectives on that.
Yeah, you have to ask yourself, what is, and I'm getting this again from the podcast I listened to, what, it's Tony Myers guy was asking, what identity, what is the Red Sox current identity? You go back to 2018 and they won the World Series. They're the #1 payroll in baseball. So they were a championship driven team. They were going out to, to buy players, and add them to the roster, to win championships, not just be competitive. You get other teams. You would say now those teams are the Dodgers, the Yankees. They've got the prime talent, the best players, some of the best players in the game, and they're looking for championships. Other teams, they want to be competitive, get to the playoffs, and as I said last time, if you're in it, you're in it. And you've got a chance. But for a lot of the teams, then you're talking about building, aren't you? And if you're not going to be competitive this year, and you have got someone like Scoobs, who has got value in the market, then some organizations, possibly the Ties, they might say, well, actually, we can get 2 or 3 really good prospects for this guy, which, who might, by prospects, I mean guys that are probably still in the minor leagues for other teams. So you may have a team like the Mets who need, a top class starting pitcher, and they've got 2 or 3 guys in the AAA who are going to be potential stars in the next year or two. And if you're the Tigers, you might say, okay, we'll take those 3, and we'll try and they may have another pitcher coming through who could take over. It's almost counterintuitive to us, isn't it, as football fans, because we've got a completely different setup. But what you said, what the problem for our good teams is, as soon as you say, as soon as one of the weird teams gets a start, it's not long before the top teams, and we know who they are in Scotland, will come in straight away, and they don't trade. They just
Money, yeah.
either buy them off you or entice them away in other ways. I mean, it's a totally different system, but once you start understanding what's going on in baseball, you can see what's happening, and it is, from a Red Sox fan's point of view, you had all these years when we didn't win a championship for 86, a World Series for 86 years. Then you got the new ownership coming in, and straight away they started putting money into the team. Paid off and they've won 4 championships this century. But as I heard somebody saying that, it's almost as if now the Red Sox is just part of their portfolio. They've got Liverpool, they've got they've got them. Have they got a hockey team or a basketball team? Pittsburgh, yeah. And the trophies are on the shelf, so it's almost like they don't need to try anymore. And it's very frustrating from a Red Sox fan's point of view. And what you've got is a great manager, Alex Cora, I think he's coming out of his contracts at the end of this season, and you just signed Devers to a 300 million, $30 million a year deal, and it's almost like they're too good for the team. if they're not going to add to this, so the concern is that Cora might be away, and eventually somebody, they might trade Devers. I don't know. It's hard. It's hard to
But
deal.
yeah, I don't know. It's not very necessarily football related, but one of the fascinating things with the Detroit Tigers as well is it smacks of Justin Verlander as well. And obviously Justin trade brought Daz Cameron to Detroit, which was a boon for myself. But it's something that Tigers love the guy. Tigers fans love the guy, but he's been away winning World Series rings elsewhere, and it just sort of sounds, yeah. But yeah, money. So I don't, yeah. Dave Jr., I don't know if you had anything to add on that. I know you're obviously you're demonstrating your football knowledge these days as well.
It's yeah, thanks. The only thing I can think of, and you guys have covered it off perfectly, but perhaps that is the beauty of baseball with the trade system, in that you do get year on year completely different World Series finalists and winners, unlike Scottish football, English football, where it's the same people on top. So
Yeah,
yeah, I'm not sure what the exact question you posed, Alan, was, but I kind of come back to the way that the trade system works. And yes, it's going to be frustrating as a Tigers fan. You see guys go out the door, but ultimately, Verlander could have went elsewhere and had a stinker. He
yeah,
could have became injured. He might not have became the pitcher he became, and you might have received 2 or 3 fantastic prospects that go on to make
yeah,
up your entire outfield for years to come. I think Dave used the word earlier. It's a bit of insight. It's a little bit of hit and miss, if you excuse the pun. But yeah, it's a
Thank you
good
much. Yeah,
system. It works at different times. It'll hopefully work for the White Sox this year. Uh, Unfortunately, although the Tigers started well, you may have to use it to your advantage. Um, should you receive some good offers for Scoobs.
yeah. We'd love to see him in August, but yeah, that's another thing. So go on, show us your trophy and tell us a wee bit about your new piece of hardware you have in the house, young Dave.
So, for those of you who do not follow Alan's charity, Emma Cameron Foundation, which there's lots and lots of literature online. I don't think we've covered it too much in the podcast, Alan.
Yeah,
And I think out of the 3 of us, you might be the better person to cover off the actual
sure.
charity itself.
You tell us
Um,
about your trophy.
Yeah, but I mean, three times a year, Alan hosts particularly big ticket events which work towards the charity and funding the fantastic, um, yeah, just the wonderful things that the charity do for people out there that have been through these awful things. The 3 showpieces are the kind of golf day, the Cayley, which Dave might be in a better position to talk about, and the football quiz. So the football quiz is put together once a year. One of our friends, Martin, who is an absolute genius of a man, he puts together a wonderful evening. And I know that Alan, you'd talk about the
Yeah,
sponsors of the evening as well, who really help out. But it's just really full of a couple of hundred mainly
yeah,
men getting together, and that was mainly men, not manly men, because
definitely not.
it's
Yeah.
quite a wide range. Um, and we just all compete over this last. When was the first one? It does tell me in the back.
2000.
2012.
Yeah,
So it's been running for well over a decade now. It's a great staple in everyone's year. And myself and my team, it's the first time that we've ever won. So
well done.
a couple of boys that we all know, Ali, Bobby, and Adam. And we got ourselves together. I think we came 5th last year, roughly about 30 teams, Alan. Would that be fair?
Yep, yep.
And this year we managed to kind of take it up a notch and bring the trophy home where it
Right.
belongs. A bit like JD Martinez making his way back to the Green Monster, where it belongs.
Yeah,
And yeah, so we'll carry the trophy around for the next 12 months. It might be too heavy to take to Chicago, to take to London, but it'll find pride of place in our homes over the coming
yeah.
12 months.
Delighted you won it, and Yeah, I did a wee bit about the charity, the Emma Cameron Foundation. So named after my daughter, who she passed away in 2011, bone cancer. So yeah, we've got a charity. We raise funds for children with cancer and their families. We raise about 60,000-70,000 pound a year. We've raised over £800,000, which for our American listeners will be over $1 million. And we're not here to cure cancer. We're here to try to make kids who are ill and their families' lives a wee bit better. And we have some fun along the way. And good fun was had at the home of Partick Thistle Football Club on Friday, which has been a regular venue. I don't change things in life. I stick to what works well and what does well. And the biggest change we probably had in the quiz was that Martin, I think, must have won it for about the first 4 or 5 years. I think one year none of his teammates turned up and he won it on his own, which was the point he realised that he really should become our perfect quiz master. And he does a great job. What we'll do actually is there's a couple of picture rounds. So I will get the charity social media administrator to put them on the old social media, and we'll share
You're
them.
going to suggest it for this podcast, which I'm not sure how that works. But
yeah. Well, yeah, we are social media experts, Dave. I'm sure we'll manage to figure all that out. So we should maybe baseball quiz. Yeah, how are we going to get how many? We could pull together some answer smash for baseball. There's a good one.
Yeah, well, do you get the MLB morning lineup email?
Yeah.
If you go to the bottom of that, they started a few months ago, maybe last year. They started there's a MLB trivia quiz on everyone, and some of them are absolutely fantastic. Even for people like us who have, not a in-depth knowledge of the game, but some of them are sort of multiple choice and straight choices between players, so you've got the answers in front of you. But they're pretty good, so maybe we could utilize some of those. Yeah, I'll have a wee think about it.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna. Yeah, my mind's already racing on the answer smash. I'm thinking there's a fantastic selection of names in Major League Baseball that must beat a lot of Scottish footballer names as well. So, yeah, something to look forward to, and well done. We'll report in. I'm going to miss the first day of the Chicago trip with the golf day. I'm the only golfer in the group, but yeah, you might see us in our kilts in October at the Cayley as well. So we'll look forward to that. And once again, importantly, thank you for listening, everyone. We've hoped you've enjoyed having a little bit of banter with ourselves as we've gone through the world of Major League Baseball, according to us Scottish football fans. So we'll catch up the next time.